Mike Manjo, Chairman, Board of Finance. Today is 11/19, 6 p.m. I hereby call the meeting of the Board of Finance to order. Please allow me to confirm those members, staff, and anticipated participants that are present and can hear me. I will ask the moderator to confirm the digital identifier of each aforementioned participants after identification. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. John Ostrzewski.
Here.
Dan Krzyzewski.
Present.
Steve Kirsch.
Here.
Rebecca O'Donnell. Rebecca here? No Rebecca? No Rebecca. All right. We also have First Selectman Ken Kellogg.
Here.
Finance Director Ron Bonovsky.
Here.
Deputy Finance Director Heidi Mead.
Here.
Tax Collector Deb Heim.
Here.
Deb. Anyway, and Pat O'Hara, Treasurer.
Present.
Terrific. And we also have Superintendent Joe Cobza.
I'm here.
Perfect. I hereby declare we have a quorum and call this meeting to order. Copy of the agenda and any related materials have been posted and can be found on the town's website, www.monroect.org, for public inspection. This public meeting is being conducted remotely in compliance with Section 1 of Government Law's Executive Order 7B, dated March 14, 2020, using GoToMeeting electronic conferencing technology. Using the technology, the public shall participate in real time in this meeting via computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone. Using the access information set forth in the meeting agenda, please be advised that each meeting has a unique participation information, so please be sure you have access to the correct meeting. Notice is hereby given that only 250 participants may access this remote electronic public meeting at one time. Access to this meeting using technology is granted solely by the technology provider on a first access basis. It is not controlled by the town of Monroe. While as anticipated, we will not exceed the participation limit for this meeting should it appear we are approaching said limit, so that any member of the public is denied access to this meeting. I, as chairman, reserve the right to adjourn the meeting and continue at a later date using technology appropriate to ensure all members of the public may participate. Please note the following regarding this electronic public meeting. This meeting is being conducted in real time. This meeting is open to the public. Any members of the public may listen or view this meeting anonymously. That this meeting is being recorded. We ask that you mute your microphones unless recognized to speak. That anything you say, do, or display on your screens may become part of the recording. The recording shall be posted to the town's website within 7 days. If the recording shall be made available to the public within a reasonable time. The meeting should follow standard parliamentary procedures. However, I ask participants to follow the same rules. In addition, please mute your microphones to reduce background noise at any time you are not speaking. Prior to speaking on each occasion, each speaker should clearly state their name and title for the record. Use of the chat feature is prohibited and will not be considered during this meeting if in use. As set forth in the agenda, we will feature public participation. I have not received written comments before the public between the date of the agenda was posted and 1 hour before this meeting. If there are any members of the public who wish to speak during this public participation, please announce yourself by name and address one at a time. Once I've made a list of all public participants, I will call on each of you and afford 3 minutes for any comments. Thank you. All right. Review of the minutes for October 15th. Someone want to make a motion?
John Ostrzewski, Vice Chair, motion to approve minutes.
Steve Kirsch. Oh, wait. Steve Kirsch, second.
Terrific. Any discussion, questions, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor, John?
Aye.
Dane?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
And myself, aye. All right. Public First Selectman. I tried to skip by you, okay? Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. I had actually a handful of things I wanted to report back to you on tonight. Actually gave you've got a written update in your packet as well, so I'll just kind of touch base on them. The first one, I think you're all aware, really happy to announce that your former Board of Finance member, Craig Hirsch, is joining the town as our full-time Director of Human Resources. You all know his background of 25 years working in HR at Macy's, 10 years residency, and with 4 years on the Board of Finance, I think he'll bring a lot of value to the town. And I know he popped in before the meeting just to
say hello.
express his feelings of his enjoyment in working on this board and his respect for you all. So that's that. I wanted to let the Board of Finance know that I was able to secure a STEEP grant from the state of Connecticut. The program has changed since it last was around in 2016. A lot more constraints in terms of what we can go after, and it really needed something not just shovel ready, but something that had already been approved, the funding of which had already been approved as well. So the Public Safety Communications Project checked all the boxes, specifically because, and also because of the COVID-19 added category to the grant. So long story short, we did receive the maximum award of just over $128,000, which I will get, once we get final agreements, we'll go to town council. And, this will reimburse obviously a percentage of that project, which is always a good thing. Provides us with potentially more funding for other capital projects that we may need in the future, or we know we need in the future. Wanted to mention that once again, I think this was the fourth year in a row that Ron and Heidi have been recognized, or their department has been recognized by the Government Finance Officers Association for the CAFR. Again, it's the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting, and I just wanted to publicly and at this board meeting thank Ron and Heidi for their strong leadership and for everything they do to get this done. It's a heavy lift every year, and once again, the recognition is well deserved. There are two transfers on your agenda tonight, and I just wanted to talk about them quickly. First is a request from me. There are certain wage adjustments that are last year's wage increases, last fiscal wage increases that were not reflected in the current fiscal year budget at the time the budget was adopted. Some of those things were still in process. So while last year, when they were originally approved, there was a resolution to transfer for the prior fiscal year out of contingency, we would still need to do that for the current fiscal year. So I do have a proposed resolution in my memo. I'd ask that you consider and adopt it when it comes up under new business this evening. And then the second transfer that's on your agenda is a request from the Conservation Commission. They identified some funds that are historically from a Dugas farm property and some prior open space funds that are sitting basically in capital reserve, and they would like to be formally transferred to the Open Space and Land Acquisition Fund. So I did ask Ron and Heidi to propose to put that in your packet as well as a resolution to consider that transfer. Pepper Street, I know there was a question last meeting from Mr. Kirsch on just an update on Pepper Street. So I'm sure the finances are the things that are most important to this board, but I gave you a little bit of project update there as well. All the payments are up to date. Our cost in 2020 has been approximately $745,000, and our 90% reimbursement request to the state was submitted last month. I know Ron's done a tremendous amount of work in that regard. Thank you, Ron. And we will be staying on top of this. And if the state's reimbursement gets aged, we will be following up with them very quickly to ensure that the reimbursements follow the schedule that they said we would be able to expect this time. The project itself, it's moving along. It is slower than expected, and that is almost exclusively due to slower than expected utility work. There's an extensive amount of utility relocation in this project, ranging from utility poles, gas lines, water lines, etc. And a lot of these things were simply waiting on the utility company to complete their work. And there's not a whole lot of, I mean, there's a limited amount of thing we can do to prioritize, but they're not really subject or to our project schedule. So they're doing everything they can while we're waiting that. There's some other work that they're trying to do to kind of button this up for the winter. It's essentially a project shutdown, but they are trying to do whatever work they can and make that area as passable as best possible during that winter shutdown period. And last but not least, gosh, I almost hate to say it, but the budget process is about to begin again. I know it has for the Board of Ed. I will be sending out my fiscal year 21-22 budget memo probably tomorrow or Monday to kick off the process on the town side. And that's all I got for you. Thanks.
Appreciate it,
Mike,
Ken.
can
I like having the written up one too. I'm sorry?
Mike, this is Steve. Can I address the first
Sure.
selectman? A couple of things, Ken, on your report. First of all, I'd like to add my congratulations to Ron Heidi and the department for that award. I think it's clearly well deserved. Second, I'd like to thank you for the update to Pepper Street. I'm actually especially concerned with the condition of the road, since that's right around the corner from me. I was actually going to be writing to somebody and saying, hey, are they going to at least pave it or do something for the winter? It's actually dangerous at night because you cannot see all the patches in the road and stuff. So I'm really glad to hear that the bypass will be worked on.
That is something that is certainly a concern, and we're trying to make that happen.
So I really appreciate that. And on to your last comment about the budget, is it possible for you to send a copy of your memo and letters out to the members of the Board of Finance when you send it out to the department heads?
Well, the chairs of all boards and commissions or anyone with budget making authority are always included in the memo. So your chair will be on it. So, I mean, I'm sure Mike can forward that along. I mean, I'm certainly happy to send it.
I mean, it's not that exciting. I mean, it's just a letter requesting for paperwork coming in.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Again, this is the first time I'll be on the board at this part in the cycle. So yeah, I'd like to see it and get it. So if from you or from Mike, it doesn't
Happy to
matter.
forward it along.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome, and I certainly have no issue forwarding it, but I just want to go through the chair. So
I have no problem with that. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Public participation. Do we have anybody on the line? One more call before we move on. Anybody's having technical difficulties? I know we're all having them these days. All right, hearing none, let's roll through. Unfinished business, we talked about last time. We're not going to do anything there. So we get into budget. So new business is a resolution to approve budget transfer for fiscal 2019-2020.
Mr. Chairman, Steve
Mr. Kirsch worked on our budget. Go ahead.
I have a motion to make for new business item A. I will now introduce and read the following resolution. Resolved that the following budget transfers be approved pursuant to Chapter 8, Section 7G of the Town Charter for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020, the details of which are found on page 12 of the Board of Finance meeting package, and I move to waive the reading of the details and that its full text be incorporated into the minutes of the meeting. Need a second.
Do we have a second?
Dan Kirk Navy, I'll second the motion.
Terrific. Any discussion? So we need to have a vote to waive the reading. Is that correct?
Correct?
Perfect. All right, we'll start with you, Mr. Kirsch.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Dane?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Great.
And I will now move that the resolution be adopted as introduced.
Do we have another second?
John Ostrowski, second.
Perfect. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. Steve?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Dane?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Perfect. Beautiful. Very smooth. B, resolution to approve a transfer of $36,000 from the capital reserve fund to the open space and land acquisition fund.
Steve Kirsch, Board of Finance. I will now read the following resolution and ask for its adoption. Resolved that the following interfund transfers be approved pursuant to Chapter 8, Section 7G of the Town Charter for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. $36,000 from Capital Reserve Fund transfer out and $36,000 into Open Space and Land Acquisition Fund transfer in.
Dan Kirk, maybe I'll second.
Perfect. Any discussion?
No, I think the first selectman covered it.
Terrific. All right, do we have to vote to waive the reading again?
No, it's not a waive. It's
Oh, sorry. Straight vote. Good. All right, go ahead, Steve.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Dane?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Terrific. All right. Third is resolution to authorize the first selectman to appropriate up to $80,000 from the Board of Finance contingency for fiscal year 2021.
Steve Kirsch, Board of Finance. I have a motion pursuant to First Selectman Ken Kellogg's request contained in his report to this board, which can be found on page 10 of tonight's meeting package. And in light of the fact that the town council has approved the same resolution during its October 26, 2020 meeting, I will now read the following resolution and ask for its adoption. Resolved that the first selectman is authorized to appropriate up to $80,000 from the Board of Finance contingency account for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021, pursuant to Chapter 8, Section 7I of the Charter for the Town of Monroe, and that this appropriation of available funds are necessary to effectuate budget revisions resulting from previously authorized wage adjustments not reflected in the fiscal year 2020-2021 adopted budget. And I need a
Do we have
second.
a second?
Yeah, John Ostrowski, Vice Chair, second.
All right. Any discussion?
None.
Mike,
All right.
could I just say
Yeah, go
something
ahead.
quick? This is Ron
Please.
Panofsky, Director of Finance. I just wanted to emphasize that, I think, just in case there's any question, these are fiscal year 20 wage increases that just weren't rolled out in the budget. They were in contingency, just to make sure that's clear.
Yep, I'm very clear. I think everybody's clear.
Yep, I thank you, Ron, for re-emphasizing that. I tried to mention that earlier on, but yes, these are not, these do not reflect any changes in the current. These are funds that are budgeted from prior years, just weren't pushed out.
All right. Steve?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Dane?
Aye.
And myself, aye. All right. Review of the municipal financial reports. General fund, year-to-date budget report. Anybody have anything in those reports you wanted to go through?
Yes, Mike, this is Steve. I have
Yes, sir.
I have a few questions, probably for Ron. Looking at the Munis expense reports, page 1, it's the board pack 25, page 25 under town attorney. There's a charge of 40,873, and I have a few questions regarding that and the encumbrance of $105,060. My first question is Frank Lito, as the town attorney, still working without charge to the town? And if so, to whom is the bulk of these expenses, this $40,000, being paid?
Ken Kellogg, I'll address that, Mr. Chairman. So yes, the answer is Attorney Lito is not, we are not paying for his legal services yet. As you'll recall, in the current budget, we changed the legal services methodology, and I rolled up all legal fees in the town attorney's budget is in one, basically in one department. So this reflects all legal costs, and it would be a combination of funds that would have been spent towards land use, special counsel for land use matters, our labor counsel, and there's probably there's also a couple of litigation matters that have been out there for a while, small stuff, and then maybe there's one case as well that Kerma is involved in, and we're paying we pay us the first X dollars of the legal fees before their coverage kicks in.
Okay, so that probably in part is going to answer my next question. Since we've rolled everything up, is part of that 40,000 and change related to either the abandonment issue on Old Webb Road or the ongoing land issue with Cambridge Drive and Independence Drive land issues?
Well, both of those matters are being handled by special counsel for land use matters. The road abandonment is a relatively minor matter as relates to time, but I'm certain there's fees that are incurred. I know there's fees incurred for that matter, just like anything else. The items on Cambridge and Independence Drive, yeah, there's most certainly time spent on that. It's these are the legal counsel participates in some of the land use meetings to support that. They're also assisting staff quite a bit in some of the application, the process relative to pending applications, and there's also been some enforcement actions that have been taken. So yeah, there's certainly fees that would be attributable to those efforts, as as what they're one of the, that's probably one of the larger kind of ongoing thing that fits in the routine legal services bucket at this point.
Okay, and my last question on the same budgetary line, what is the reason for the encumbrance of $105,060? Is that, why are we encumbering something for that now?
Ron can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would presume it's simply a blanket purchase order so that legal fees are requisitioned appropriately prior to being spent.
That's correct, Ken.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
That's just
Then-
process.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Then on a slightly different subject, as I was going through the various line items, one of the things that I noticed, and I'll just use the Registrar of Voters as an example, in their count 150001 salary, we've not encumbered any salary amount there, but we've encumbered 13,000 for the clerks in account 150021. And similarly, when I look at something like the senior center, we encumbered a bunch in the electric line. And so I'm wondering, Ron, when do we, or what process do we use for determining when we encumber something versus not, especially when I see two things that are both salary? Why would we encumber one and not the other?
So first of all, Steve, we don't encumber salary. So the board, on the board side, we do. On the
I
town
was
side,
going to say, okay. So why did we encumber? I assume the clerk says salary. I don't have the line item in the budget in front of me, but to me, those would have been a salary. 150021, and
What
we have
page?
an encumbrance. Register of voters. Oh, I didn't write down what page. I don't have it in front of me.
I
Page
believe
26
that's,
in the
I believe
PDF.
that's the poll workers.
I was going to say, I bet
they're
it's
not
poll
paid
workers.
through salary. They're not paid through payroll.
Right.
Got it.
Oh, okay. So it's not it's not that it's you don't encumber salary. You don't encumber payroll.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'm
And
good.
those are,
Makes sense.
yeah, and I believe those are encumbered. Let me pull the detail.
Yeah, because I saw them both as salary, but I understand the distinction of payroll versus non-payroll. That right. Okay. I was just wondering because it was striking me, and as you said, Ron, I also know what happens on the Board of Ed where all of the salary, and I'll just think about the teachers being the largest one, are clearly encumbered. And so I was just wondering. My education, thank you.
Perfect. All right. Anybody have anything else on the general fund? All right. Tax collector.
Okay, I believe everyone got the report, and as you see, we are doing quite well. We are to 56% to budget, but I don't like looking at the budget. I like to look at the collectible because that's really because we had the mill rate collection rate so low this year. So the collection rate compared this year to last year is like right on target. Right, we're a little bit above. Is 52.8 for this currently, and it was at 52.4 for last year. So we are trending exactly the same as we were doing last year to the collectibles, and that is really a truer number based on budget because we budget for a lot lower collection rate. So we're trending the same. The supplemental bills will be going out probably the middle of next month, and we'll have a better handle on how everything's going to go for January. But right now I see everything trending well, and I don't foresee any big problems for this fiscal year. But again, I said next July, we're really going to have to take, because I think that's when people are going to start hurting until the recovery begins.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, you
Do they have
answered my
anything else?
question.
Perfect. All right, I'm good. Thank you very much. Treasurer?
We'll start off with happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Here's my turkey. So you've got in your report, we are so far 15% of budget, which means we'll end up the year about 50% of budget. As of today, the town of Monroe now has $15 million invested into CDs through the CDARS program. First Selectman Kellogg got the approval through town council at their last meeting. Ron Banofsky and I worked through a cash flow estimate We purchased $10 million worth of CDs on a 90-day term and $5 million worth of CDs on a 120-day term. When Ron and I built out the cash flow estimate, we were super conservative. We left room in the model that we built, which did not include the fact that it didn't include $3 million because we were using last year's numbers instead of this year's numbers, and this year is trending $3 million higher per month. We took out your contingency item, which you had not only for covering Board of Education health insurance, but for the possibility of a shortfall in tax collection. And we took out a number of other issues that Ron had made me aware of, such as the radios, the Pepper Street expenditure, and that covered it. So what we're looking at is the 90-day CDs should earn us 0.16, and the 120-day CDs 0.20. That is compared to the current stiff rate of 0.07. As these CDs come due, we're going to review them again and see what we want to do for next steps. By the time the 90-day comes due, we'll know from the tax collector's office how we're looking for here until the end of the fiscal year. And that's my report.
Question,
Anybody
Pat,
have-
if I might?
Yep.
The 90-day period started when, or ends when?
Let's see. Today was the so the 90-day started today. So December, January, February.
Okay.
Okay.
And the 120?
Anybody else?
May.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. All right. Anybody
So,
have any other questions?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I
John.
got a question. John Ostrowski. The 120 days should be March, not May, right, Pat? Just because that would otherwise it'd be 180 days.
you are for wait a second. January, February, March, April. I thought it was May. It could.
If it's May, it's 100. If it's May, it's 180 days, not 120. That's all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. It is 180. Thank you, John.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
That
We
math
did-
works better. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, your math skills are still intact, Pat. Thanks. And I just want to say, nice work putting this program together to get a little more juice into the account
Exactly.
there. So appreciate the work between you and Ron. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And, we talked about being more aggressive with this. I know when we talked to you folks last month, we were not up into the $15 million. I think we were a smaller number. But between Ken, Ron, myself, I did advise the chairman before taking action. We thought being more aggressive was still within our comfort level. And again, I think this is what we're going to have to take advantage of for the next couple of years. And once the tax collector gets a good view of what is going on with the tax collection, we can maybe even talk about, a couple of 2 and 3 year issues, which the rate then goes to 0.35 and 0.45. So thank you everybody for your support and your help.
Beautiful. Well done.
Good job, Pat.
All right.
Thanks.
Let's move on to the Board of Ed financial reports. Ron, you have anything you want to call out for us?
So I know Joe wanted to speak, but if I could have the
Terrific.
floor for about a minute, I'll just I'll go through the financial reports quick, and I'll wrap special ed in also.
Perfect.
So it's on page 45 of your document. you see halfway down, tuition private is showing a negative balance of 563,000, which is part of special ed. That's going to be offset by excess cost, and the projected amount we'll be receiving this year for excess cost is about 508,000. So it is slightly negative still, but not that bad. It's about 56,000, I think, is the net difference for that line item. So overall, special ed isn't trending that badly overall. So that's the quick Reader's Digest version. I don't know if anyone's got any questions regarding that or special ed. The only other quick item I want to mention, supplies other are at negative 256,000. That's COVID related. We'll be filing for reimbursement for all of that.
Excellent.
And we're actually pulling those numbers together, and the initial filing will be done tomorrow. So.
Okay.
Yep. On my end, just really quickly, I just want to, I'm sorry, Joe Kodza, Superintendent. I just wanted to, first of all, just thank, Ron, Jack, Ciccolini, Sheila, Castanelli, Linda Sementelli. They've been working really hard to maximize, grant monies. There's a lot of restrictions on some of these funds coming in from the CARES Act and the Coronavirus Relief Fund, but I know they've been, very diligently trying to get those, maximize those as best we can. Just one other thing, because I just want to keep everyone in the loop is, we have pressure points throughout the system. One that I just want to make this group aware of. I know the Board of Education is already aware of it. Is our food services contract. Just to, again, this is completely COVID related. We have certain expenses that we're obligated to pay through our food service contract, and unfortunately, as you can imagine, with being in a hybrid mode and that very possibly changing in the very near future into going completely out, our lunch sales are way down. We're pulling a deficit in the cafeteria fund right now. So I just wanted to keep you folks aware of that. It's a complete revenue problem. We just we are doing everything we can. We're working with Sodexo to try to increase lunch membership. If anyone has kids in the system, you've seen that we have we've applied for a waiver from the USDA to allow for free lunch for any students. So lunch is actually free. It actually works in our benefit if students pay for it, because it's subsidized by the USDA. So we're doing everything we can to get membership up even through the free lunch program, and that's available at all of our schools that are on the National School Lunch Program. So it's all the schools with the exception of Massac. So, but even at Massac, membership is down, student, attendance is down, and we're struggling there. So I just wanted to get you guys in the loop.
Okay. Is there any, I'm sure other towns are dealing with this across the state. I'm sure this is not a specific Monroe problem. Is there any, feeling like they're going to work with us and come to a settlement, or is it going to be?
We're trying to work with them. I think they've been trying to work with us to this point. I have them coming at our to our next Board of Education meeting to talk about this again.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions on Board of Ed? I guess I know I was listening on Monday. I know obviously the schools are struggling right now, as most of the town and the state is. And have we, if we do have to change structure again, I'm sure we have a better grip on the financial implications this time since we've been through it once before. Ron's laughing over there.
I'm not really sure how to answer that, Mike. I think so. But there's a lot of will the governor follow up with executive orders as he did in the spring? I don't even know. I would have to go revisit those to see how many of those are still in place and how many aren't. But yeah, we'll be probably talking to our bus company again, and walking to, you know, SEDEC, as Joe had just mentioned, the food services contract, you know, there's certain, you know, it's going to be tough. Because one thing Joe didn't mention, but we have to put this is the year to go out for RFP for food services. So that's going to be a little challenging because I'm not sure any food service companies would even respond in the current environment. So
yeah, that's got to be a tough business model right now with the unknown.
It really is. So
Ron, a question. You say it's the year to go out. Do we have an option to extend the existing contract for a year if we wanted to or had to?
We do not. It would have to be a waiver from the, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, I think it would be a waiver from the Connecticut Department of Education.
I believe that's the case, Ron. Yeah.
But we're one of, I believe, 34 districts who have to go out this year. So we're not alone.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least everyone's dealing with the same situation. So I don't know how that helps, but it does.
So yeah, John Ostraszewski, just another point on that one, Ron. I was on a conference call this morning with the Agency on Aging, and they're supposed to go out for an RFP next year for their nutrition program, and the state waived the requirement to do that and pushed it off for a year. So your chances of getting it kicked out for a year is probably pretty good.
That wouldn't surprise me. They seem to be flexible and everything else.
Yeah, it's like I said. I think we're working with the state right now. You know, we myself and my assistant over on the board side sat on a 3-hour webinar, kind of walking through the process because it's not. I would say it's not your typical RFP process because it's the State Department of Education kind of oversees it and makes sure all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed, so to speak. So we kind of have to at least start the process, and you know, if 2020 continues the way it's you know, gone so far, we'll probably get halfway through the process and they'll give us the waiver.
That sounds exactly right. Maybe 3/4 of the way through. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Anybody have any other questions on the Board of Ed side?
Just congratulations to Joe.
Yeah, congratulations. That's right. We didn't forget that. Congratulations, Joe. Getting permanent. So that's awesome. No, well deserved for sure. And you know, I can't believe we're literally starting the budget in a month, but that doesn't seem possible. We just finished it. So here we go again. And I think we all know and reminded us when we finished last year, we know this is really going to be the tough year. So we're all going to have to buckle up for this one. So
thanks, guys.
We'll be seeing a lot of each other. Terrific. All right. Somebody want to make the motion? Quick and easy. And happy Thanksgiving to all.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Motion to adjourn. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe.
Thanks, Joe.
Stay well.
Yeah, everybody stay safe, please. Specifically. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate all the motions. Thanks,
You're
guys.
welcome.